So hi, everyone, and welcome to our very first episode of ReForm. Today, we have a San Franciscan staple and friend of mine, Stuart Schuffman. Is that how you say your last name?
You nailed it.
Oh, nice. Okay. Phew. And friend of mine, Stuart Schuffman, aka Broke Ass Stuart, a man of many hats. He's a travel writer, poet, TV host, activist, and general shit stirrer. His website, BrokeAssStuartcom, that's why we love you, is one of the most influential arts and culture sites in the San Francisco Bay Area, and his freelance writing has been featured in Lonely Planet, Condé Nast Traveler, The Bold Italic, Geek.com, and too many other outlets to remember. His weekly column, Broke Ass City, appears every other Thursday in the San Francisco Examiner. In 2011, Stuart created and hosted the travel show Young, Broke, and Beautiful on IFC. And in 2015, he ran for mayor of San Francisco. And while he didn't win, he left a lasting impression on the city. But the reason I am really excited to introduce you to the ReForm platform and introduce you to everyone is because of your efforts to keep your newsroom incredibly diverse. And your messages of progressive politics. For me, I think it's really important to have these components in our work and our daily life. And that's why I'm really excited to introduce you. So
Hey.
Welcome, Stuart.
Thank you. Hello.
Yay, woo. So we're just going to launch right into our questions since I don't want to keep you all day. So Stuart, you do an amazing job of taking people along with you on the journey, and that takes a bit of finessing. So to make change in the world, how many spoonfuls of sugar do you need to make that medicine go down?
I think it's really important. Like, look, if you just wag your finger and just like tell people all day, like no one wants to hear that. So I think that it's important to use humor as much as possible to get an idea across. That's why satire is so powerful. That's why something like The Daily Show or John Oliver is so brilliant, because it's like saying, here, something's happening. The world's a crazy place. It's often pretty fucked up, but here's something really funny we can laugh about how terrible the rest of it is, while we're educating you about how to be better and how to make the world better. And that's I try to use humor as much as I can in everything I do to help medicine go down. Exactly.
Yeah, it kind of softens the blow. I'm reading this book. I think it is a book. I'm trying to remember the name. It's like Pleasure Politics or something like that. But what I like about it is it's kind of saying the same thing, where it's like you really have to make the revolution like sexy and fun. Totally. Because otherwise it's a bore and people don't want to do it, and I know that sounds crazy, but but it's true. And so I think that's something that I really enjoy about your writing, and not just your writing. I mean, in all endeavors of your media, you do kind of have that moment of like fun and levity, but then we get serious too. And I think it's that nice mix that you do.
Thank you. Well, it's like, Emma Goldman, who was a real bad motherfucker. She was like, one of the heads of the American anarchist movement, and she was tough as nails. She says, I don't want to be part of any revolution where I can't dance. You got to have fun.
I love it. I mean, I think yeah, at the end of the day, there needs to be room for celebration, and there needs to be room for humanity,
Absolutely.
So, as someone who has been a huge promoter of progressive politics and media, what is it that got you started in this path?
I mean, I've been involved in activism for a long time. I mean, I'm 40 in a couple of days. And so, I mean, I went to UC Santa Cruz, even further back. I remember in political science class in high school, learning about Marxism. And I was like, this shit sounds rad. like, wait, everybody's taken care of and everybody does their parts? That's amazing. Why wouldn't we want that, Then I went to UC Santa Cruz for college. And I joked that they at your dorm room, first day of your dorm room door, they give you the Communist Manifesto, which isn't exactly, but it's especially when I was there in 1999 through 2003, it was very progressive. It still is very progressive, I imagine. And I learned a lot about critical theory, critical race theory, gender, workers' rights, all that kind of stuff. And the more you learn, the more you become educated about how the world is stacked against most people. It kind of pushes you in that direction. And then when we started dropping bombs in Iraq and Afghanistan, that's when I really got involved in activism. And there was spent a lot of time up here in the city, you know, marching the streets, trying to get like, don't fucking do that. There's no blood for oil. What is this? And you know, that didn't work. Unfortunately, we're still in these countries, unfortunately. And so, and socialism and socialist, democratic socialism and these concepts have kind of always been part of my work. Even when I was just making zines and something for my backpack, they were like, while they weren't like over the head, like, hey, look, man, capitalism's fucked up. There's always undertones, in everything I did. And then even my New York City book, there's definitely lots of that. And then when I ran for mayor in 2015, it really, like, while I was already loud and obnoxious, I was more pointedly loud and obnoxious, and really got involved in local politics and local activism. Like, I doubled down on it,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the things I think, I feel like we met probably right before you did the mayor thing.
Yeah.
But that was something that really struck me. And I think, it not only was it like you kind of set a tone, you like set a tone for some of the other issues that were going on in the city, and you really like made those issues heard. But you also kind of made it like a reality for the everyday person, right? Like I saw you do that and I was like, oh, well, maybe I could do something, and I think that's a really important thing to think about and talk about, is like inspiring others to kind of step up, because politics really are for the people, but a lot of people just don't feel like they can be a part of it. And I know I didn't have this as a question, but how do you feel? Like, I mean, do you feel that way as well? Like you should just show up and make your voice heard, be annoying?
I like the idea that you look at me and say, if this asshole can do it, anybody can do it.
I mean, a lot of assholes get into politics, so might as well be like the assholes that are for the people.
Right, exactly. Show being an activist is the easiest and the hardest thing to do in the world. It's easiest. Literally, all you have to do is show up and care. And it's the hardest because you have to care. And like and it takes. There's so many ways of doing activism. I think that a progression is like the first thing you can do is speak up, speak out, use your platform, your social media, whatever, to say something. Secondly, then you start showing up in person and doing things. Showing up to protest and getting involved. Thirdly, you start giving money, to causes, and then fourthly, I don't know if that maybe fourthly, I think it's word. You start getting involved in actually organizing. So I wouldn't consider myself an organizer. I'm too disorganized to be an organizer, honestly. But I'm lucky in the fact that I've got a platform that some people listen to and pay attention to, and I use that as as what I do. I'm not at every rally, and honestly, nobody can be at every rally.
No,
it's important to pick and choose, or else you'll go crazy and you'll tire yourself out. So I'm not at all the things, but what I do is I make my platform available for people to get the word out of really important things, as much as I can.
Yeah. I mean, I think, that's something also that I've admired about you. With every crazy idea that I've had, at least, I've been like, oh, maybe Broke Ass Stuart will post about it for me. And you really do. I mean, you really make news accessible for people. And it's using your platform for, the broke ass dreamers, the broke ass artists. And I think, especially I feel like in a world where media and news media, it's like, oh, I need to hire a PR consultant and then I got to pay $300 to get on this Facebook. It's like, by making it open and free, like I really think you're creating a service with the website. So thanks.
Thank you. What I try to do is, if nothing else, like, there's only so much space and so much time in our staff is very small, even now more so because of COVID, so a lot can't make it on the site. But I try to make almost anybody who reaches out to me, I'll try to be like, if it's something that I believe in, the worst case scenario is I'm happy to tweet. I'm like, look, if you write it up, I'll send out a tweet. Mm-hmm. It costs me nothing.
Yeah.
You do the work, I'll just put it out there. Yeah. Because like, I want to be able to like, help amplify shit when I can.
Yeah. So moving right along, our audience may not know this, but you've made it your mission to make your staff as diverse as possible. Besides giving opportunities, can you tell us how this has made BrokeAssStuartcom a better place for news?
It's not just my voice. It's not just my point of view, and it's always been important to me to have other voices because, I mean, I don't want to be surrounded by just me. Mm-mm. How fucking obnoxious is that? So, we've had a whole host of voices, you know, from Jamal Frederick writing about being a black bartender and dealing with the double standard of you know, the idea that black people don't tip. It's a fascinating article, you know, because he's been talking about being on both sides of the bar and like the expectations from both sides of the bar. To my good friend Shakina Nafak writing back in 2013, I think, for the website, writing about what it's like to be trans and dating, you know, and so like these are things that I can't speak about, you know, but they're important things to talk about. And so why not bring on people who can speak about them, who talk from their personal experiences to help, you know, let other people learn what it's like, you know, because the only way we can grow as people is to try to like understand each other. And
Well,
so,
and
yeah.
I think what's interesting though is like Broke Ass Stuart and your website, you do it almost it's like casual, and that's what's revolutionary about it too. It's not like you're like, here's my token trans person.
Right,
You know?
right.
It's like, it really is. It's, you know, it's like, oh, this is, I didn't even, what an interesting article. Like now I understand the world a little better than I did before. And I think, you know, mainstream media, it's very one-sided. It's very for one kind of audience. And so I think that's really what makes Broke Ass Stuart revolutionary. And that's why we wanted you here on ReForm today.
Yay, thank you.
Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, so, oh, did you want to say anything else?
Oh no, I was just gonna reiterate the fact that like what makes life interesting is people that are different than yourself, you know, and like and how we can. I mean, I don't know, man. Look, Black Lives Matter. You know, like that shit's important.
It is important.
Trans lives matter. Black trans lives matter. Like, you know, these are important things. The way that we can all come up to get together is by taking care of each other together. And like, if I can use my voice to help amplify voices that aren't getting heard otherwise, I'm doing the best I can. You know.
Yeah, and I think also in terms of media, and which is what, you know, you are doing, I think by having these other perspectives and by coming at it casually, you know, I don't know, it humanizes everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's the tough thing with media too, outside of Broke Ass Stuart. It's like, you know, you grow up and it's like, oh, ads about the hood and it's scary, or, you know, like these stereotypes that really ruin day-to-day conversations with people, ruins the humanistic aspect of the human world. And so, yeah, I think it's great that you create a platform for those voices. I think it's important.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So my last question, are there any elements of what you've created that you hope to see people pick up the mantle of and keep carrying?
Yeah, man, fuck shit up, you know? Use
Great
your
advice.
voice. Speak up, speak out, and take care of each other. Look after each other, stick up for one another, you know?
Yeah.
Mutual aid. Because no one's going to do it for us. We got to do it for each other.
Yeah, the older I get, I'm not 40 yet. I'm getting there. But the older I get, yeah, I really am seeing it. You can't wait around for somebody else to do it for you. And if you are lucky enough, like you are, or like I am, to have a platform and an audience, then it's not just about you, and it's about everyone, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's about making those places available for all, for a more equitable future. So
look, our job as white people is to help, you know, like spread the word when people of color aren't getting heard, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the goal here, and I applaud you as well. I want to also thank you for coming on to our very first episode ever of ReForm. Anything else you want to let the internet know before we say goodbye?
I've got a Patreon. If you like what we do, please help support. This year's been really fucking terrible. And so Patreon is literally the only thing that's kept Broke Ass Stuart alive. And when I say Broke Ass Stuart, I mean the entity, the publication, not me personally.
Yeah.
But yes, I mean those two. But like, it's weird because I talk. It's like, are we talking in third person or not?
Oh, honey, I'm the Tracy Piper all the time. Who am I? You know.
All right, perfect. But yeah, the Patreon, you know, Broke Ass Stuart Patreon is really important. It's what's literally keeping this whole thing afloat. So if you all watch out there, like the way I sound and what I'm talking about, please help out. It'd be wonderful.
I am a Patreon of Broke Ass Stuart. I give you $2 a month. That's what I can afford, but I can afford that, and I give it so much. Yeah. I believe in what you guys are doing. So
thank you.
Yeah, and then you should also announce your roast on Wednesday.
Yeah, sorry. obviously. So Wednesday, it's my 40th birthday, and I'm getting roasted. I've got a whole like slew of brilliant Bay Area personalities, Bay Area and beyond, who are going to be belittling me in front of an audience, obviously online. But it's going to be really cool. Everyone from Peaches Christ to the bitchy waiter to Sister Roma, Supervisor Matt Haney, who you talked about before. So many really legendary people are nice enough to make fun of me in front of an audience. So it's going to be great.
I love it. Oh, I'm excited. I'll tune in for sure, and I will tell everyone about it. Yeah. Thank you again, Stuart. It's really good to see you. And hopefully,
I'm looking forward to when we get to hug again.
Yeah, hopefully we can hug again soon. Yeah. Take care, darling.
Tell your family I say hello.
I will. Bye.